You're exactly right. You know, the United States SEC filed a lawsuit about what is XRP 4 years ago. And so it kind of froze the U.S. market opportunity for us. You know, if you're a U.S. bank or U.S. financial institution, you're like, let's just wait and see how this plays out. So sure. 95% of our customers are outside the United States. And finally, I think we're at a point where we can actually see growth and see the crypto industry thrive here in the United States. The largest economy in the world has really been leaning out of the crypto economy.
The banks you trust to safeguard your money, the ones that form the backbone of the global financial system, might just hold the keys to something that could turn the entire system on its head. What if I told you that Ripple, the company behind XRP, is quietly embedding itself into the infrastructure of some of the largest and most powerful banks and central institutions in the world? And what if that collaboration is paving the way for a seismic shift in how money moves globally, one that could send XRP's value soaring?
It's just not a huge priority. We have a lot of capital, very strong balance sheet. We can continue to play offense through an acquisition point of view, invest in the business. You know, as we started this conversation, I am very optimistic about the crypto market in 2024 because of those things around putting compliance first, right? Making sure we focused on solving real problems for customers and not just the speculative cycle. I think will put the whole industry in a really good trajectory.
This isn't mere speculation. It's happening right now. Ripple has reportedly partnered with over 30 central banks worldwide. At first glance, this might not seem earth-shattering. After all, partnerships between fintech companies and financial institutions are fairly common. But the story becomes far more intriguing when you consider the secrecy surrounding most of these collaborations. Why are these partnerships not being widely publicized? What exactly is being built behind closed doors? And more importantly, how does this connect to a potential transformation of the global financial system? These questions demand answers.
Yeah, I think this momentum is really driven from what's happening on a political basis. And the United States remains the largest economy in the world, and it has been kind of backwards as its approach to cryptocurrencies. You know, countries like the UK are way ahead, Japan, Singapore, Switzerland. I mean, we are really behind the rest of the world.
And Ripple has offices in many of those cities.
We do. We have 14 offices around the world. And so for me, I think what's really driving the momentum right now is seeing that, you even said this earlier, the voice of crypto, the voice of Ripple, and is really gone up in the conversation in the United States. I think you're seeing shifts.
Let's start with Ripple's involvement in the Bank for International Settlements Task Force. The BIS, often referred to as the central bank of central banks, is one of the most influential organizations in global finance. It doesn't just monitor global financial stability, it sets the tone for how money moves across borders. Ripple's inclusion in their task force is no small feat. This isn't just a membership card, it's a seat at the table with the giants of finance, including SWIFT and other major payment systems. These entities collectively shape the rules of the financial game, and Ripple's active participation suggests they're not just a player, they're potentially helping write the rulebook.
Yeah, they really are the dominant. I mean, SWIFT has been around for, 50, 60 years. And the frustrating part for all of us as users of SWIFT is that it really hasn't changed in 50 or 60 years. The architecture of how it works, it means it's slow, it's expensive, and frankly, it's quite error prone. Some studies have shown that about 6% of all SWIFT attempts to wire a SWIFT transaction end up in errors that bounce back, and then it takes days to get it back.
What about you guys?
Well, an XRP transaction and a payment flow for us is really real time. It's instant, it's cross-border, and the really powerful thing for a lot of our customers is they don't have to pre-fund accounts, because our customers are financial institutions. And the way SWIFT works is you're pre-funding, you have dormant capital sitting in other banks around the world. Using XRP, using RippleNet, our payments network, you don't have to pre-fund.
The task force Ripple is part of focuses on interoperability in cross-border payments. In simple terms, this means ensuring that different financial systems, whether they're tied to stocks, bonds, derivatives, or traditional banking, can seamlessly communicate with each other. These markets collectively handle trillions of dollars daily, and any inefficiency in their operations can ripple, pun intended, across the global economy. Ripple's technology, with its focus on speed and cost-effectiveness, positions it as a potential cornerstone for this interoperability. But what makes XRP uniquely qualified for this role? To understand this, we need to look at the broader landscape of global finance.
Where is the United States?
Border transactions have relied heavily on correspondent banking networks, a labyrinthine system involving multiple intermediary banks. This process is slow, expensive, and prone to errors. Enter Ripple. Its blockchain-based solutions promise to simplify these transactions, reducing settlement times from days to mere seconds. This isn't just a technical improvement, it's a revolution that could redefine how money moves. And central banks are paying attention.
So XRP actually was the best performing digital asset in 2017. It was up, I think, something like 25,000%. The excitement around digital assets is because I think you're solving a real problem. And I think one of the things you saw happen, particularly last December, is there's understandably concern about regulation and what does that mean for digital assets. From the get-go, Ripple has worked with regulators, and we have worked with regulated institutions like banks where there isn't regulatory uncertainty. And so we have found that part of the reason why XRP has performed well is because people realize, hey, wait a minute, back to your question, is XRP the next Bitcoin? If we work with the system to solve this problem, and we can solve that problem at scale, a problem measured in the trillions of dollars, then there's a lot of opportunity to create value in XRP.
Take the Brics nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries collectively represent a significant portion of the global economy. In recent years, they've been vocal about their desire to reduce reliance on the US dollar for international trade. But finding a viable alternative isn't easy. Trust between these nations, or rather, the lack of it, complicates the adoption of any single country's currency. This is where XRP could come into play. As a neutral, decentralized digital asset, it offers a solution that transcends national boundaries. Imagine a future where Brics trade is facilitated not by dollars or yuan, but by XRP. This isn't just a hypothetical scenario. It's a possibility Ripple is actively working towards.
You could not be more right about this. I mean, we obviously, particularly in Miami, there's a very vibrant community around crypto. But in other countries that don't have a strong fiat currency, the US dollar is a strong currency and you have various options to make payments. There's certainly many countries around the world where their fiat currency, the currency they traditionally would transact in, is not strong or it has very high inflation, so that local consumers, local citizens don't want to hold that currency. And crypto has really adopted even more aggressively there. Argentina comes to mind as a country that has had currency problems over the years. And so if you're Argentinian and you're holding $10,000, would you rather hold that in the local Argentinian peso or in a cryptocurrency that maybe has a stronger store of value that you don't have to worry about being inflated to a lower value than the 10,000 you started with?
Let's move from theory to practice. Ripple's technology is already being tested in real-world applications. In Hong Kong, it's being used to tokenize real estate, enabling faster and more transparent property transactions. In the US, Ripple is piloting solutions for instant home equity loans, slashing processing times from weeks to seconds. And these are just the tip of the iceberg. Central banks in Brazil, Colombia, and Saudi Arabia are experimenting with Ripple's platforms for central bank digital currencies. These pilot programs are not just proofs of concept, they're stepping stones toward broader adoption.
I mean, on one hand, I would say yes. However, there's already a tremendous amount of demand. I mean, that business is growing very quickly. We announced publicly just a month or two ago that HSBC is a new client of that business. So, these are big accounts as well as more mid-market accounts. The custody business is very real and is going to continue to grow nicely. I do think Ripple thinks about entering other vertical markets, so payments, custody. I think we'll do other things in 2024. Some of those will probably enter through acquisition. We've been super fortunate to have a very strong balance sheet at a time that the market has shifted and the valuations of a lot of these companies is not what it once was. That's been an opportunity for us, and so we're going to continue to play offense.
And what are the areas that interest you then?
I was thinking about being your wardrobe consultant. No, I'm not going to announce the world, the key areas. But look, Ripple at its core is a blockchain infrastructure company serving enterprises. We started with payments and financial institutions. We've moved into custody, a lot of overlap with those same financial institutions. But we're going to expand with that same thematic of infrastructure, enterprise-based, that served us well.
Now let's talk about the Middle East, a region that's rapidly emerging as a fintech powerhouse. Ripple's launch of on-demand liquidity services in this region was no coincidence. The Middle East and North Africa region is home to some of the world's largest financial hubs, from Dubai to Riyadh. These cities aren't just regional players, they're gateways for global trade. Ripple's technology is being integrated into the very fabric of these financial systems. For instance, Saudi Arabia's central bank has included Ripple as a settlement mechanism in its cross-border payment systems. This isn't just an endorsement, it's a validation of Ripple's potential to reshape global finance. One project that exemplifies Ripple's influence in the Middle East is Buna, a cross-border payment system covering over a dozen countries, from Algeria to Bahrain. Ripple's involvement here isn't just significant, it's transformative. By enabling faster and more efficient transactions, Ripple is helping to unlock the region's economic potential. But the Middle East is just one piece of the puzzle.
It's really true. I mean, this is a major centerpiece of remittance networks, and certainly the immigrant populations here in the Middle East, and certainly here in the kingdom between India, Pakistan, the Philippines. And so, these have always been populations which pay very high fees for their remittance traffic. And what we're focused on is bringing those down. The Middle East has been one of our fastest growing regions. We've grown network activity for Ripple-enabled payments 5x year on year here in the Middle East. It's our fastest growing region. And I think it really is only just getting started because it is such a center point, as you described.
In Japan, Ripple has found another strong foothold. Over 60 banks in the country initially partnered with Ripple to develop MoneyTap, a blockchain-based payment app. This app isn't just a tech demo, it's a real-world deployment in one of the world's largest economies. Japan's financial institutions have embraced Ripple's solutions with such enthusiasm that they now rival SWIFT in domestic bank transfers. Backing this initiative is SBI Holdings, a major Ripple shareholder and a staunch advocate for XRP's utility. This partnership underscores Ripple's ability to adapt its technology to diverse markets, each with its own unique challenges and opportunities. Africa, often overlooked in discussions about fintech innovation, is another region where Ripple is making significant inroads. The continent's financial systems have long struggled with inefficiencies, from high remittance costs to limited access to banking services. Ripple's technology is changing that. Through partnerships with institutions like Al Ahly Bank, Ripple is enabling faster, cheaper, and more reliable cross-border payments. These improvements are not just about convenience, they're about unlocking economic opportunities for millions of people.
It's the marks. Ready?
FX は SBI FX トレード。
J2 Roku.
But why XRP? Couldn't these institutions just use Bitcoin or Ethereum? The answer lies in efficiency. XRP's design as a bridge currency allows for transactions to be settled in mere seconds, with fees so minuscule that they barely register compared to traditional systems. Bitcoin and Ethereum, while revolutionary in their own rights, simply can't compete on this level of scalability and speed. And in a world where billions move across borders every second, efficiency isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Let's not overlook Ripple's broader strategy. This isn't just about technology, it's about building relationships. Ripple's partnerships with central banks, financial institutions, and private enterprises are not just collaborations. They're a concerted effort to integrate XRP into the global financial system. This integration isn't about replacing existing systems, it's about enhancing them. And as these systems evolve, XRP's role as a bridge asset becomes increasingly indispensable.
Well, I think if we're solving a real problem and it's at scale, then I think it's a compliment. I think the most important thing that is going on in crypto is understanding what is real and what is just hype. Some, I think, may look back on Bitcoin and find that it was the Napster of digital assets. What I mean by that is Napster was the first to digitize music and demonstrate, hey, if you digitize music, you can do a lot of cool things with that. But ultimately, they were circumventing trademark laws, they were circumventing royalty payments, and government stepped in, and Napster was not successful. But Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, they were very successful. I think what you'll find is that maybe the next generation of digital assets ends up solving some of the original problems that Bitcoin set out to solve.
The implications are staggering. Imagine a future where XRP is the backbone of a global financial system that's faster, cheaper, and more inclusive. This isn't just a possibility, it's a vision Ripple is actively working toward. And with every new partnership, every pilot program, and every central bank deal, that vision comes closer to reality. So what does this mean for XRP's value? If Ripple succeeds in embedding its technology into the global financial system, the demand for XRP could skyrocket. This isn't about speculative trading or cryptocurrency hype. It's about real-world utility. And as more institutions adopt Ripple's solutions, the case for XRP becomes stronger.
And now, another cryptocurrency is rallying. It's called XRP. Since the US election, XRP has gained $100 billion in value. It is now the world's third largest cryptocurrency. So what is driving this rally? Is it only Donald Trump and his promise to make America the world's crypto capital? Or is there more at play? Our next report explores.
This is the chart for XRP, the cryptocurrency. It had a volatile day of trade. But if you take a step back and zoom out the graph, you'll see the big picture emerge. Over the past month, XRP has soared. Its value has jumped by a whopping 400%. XRP today is the world's third largest cryptocurrency.
The question isn't whether XRP's price will explode, it's when. And when that moment comes, it won't just be a win for Ripple, it will be a paradigm shift for global finance. Are you ready for it? Because the biggest banks in the world certainly are. Transitioning from the unfolding story of Ripple's groundbreaking achievements, it becomes clear that optimism surrounding XRP is far from coincidental. Analysts widely attribute the cryptocurrency surge to its position as the third largest by market cap, driven by Ripple's ecosystem expansion and anticipated regulatory shifts.
Gary Gensler would take the cake. He's the outgoing, meaning he's leaving SEC chair. When Donald Trump takes over, he's going to be replaced by Paul Atkins. It would be Carolyn Crenshaw as well. She was seen as a kind of a Gensler surrogate, but only even more anti-crypto than Gensler. And what's fascinating, and this is an Ellie story that's going to be published on foxbusiness.com, is just how much time and effort and they're spending on trying to block her from getting renominated. Biden has renominated her. You have to attach her nomination to a bill or something. There's only a few days left in the congressional session, as you know, maybe a week or so. Ellie has it all laid out. And so they're trying to do it at the last minute to basically install a very leftist, or what they would say progressive, critics would say progressive, anti-crypto person on the commission.
Let's break this down further. Industry insiders have pointed out that Ripple's steady business growth, including the rollout of its RLUSD stablecoin, has been a major driver of this momentum. What's particularly exciting is the speculation about potential leadership changes within the SEC, a factor that could have monumental implications for the regulatory landscape XRP navigates. Ryan Lee, chief analyst at BitJit Research, underscores the pivotal nature of Ripple's legal battle with the SEC. According to Lee, positive developments in this case, whether it's Gary Gensler stepping down or a favorable settlement, could serve as a catapult for XRP's price. Ripple's ongoing efforts to stabilize its token through strategic innovations have only reinforced this sentiment. Lee's insights, shared in a note to Decrypt, paint a vivid picture of how intertwined Ripple's legal and business strategies are with investor confidence.
Let's move along to a news alert out of the SEC. Eamon Javers, is it official?
Kelly, that's right. The SEC is saying that Chairman Gary Gensler will be stepping down from the SEC. That'll be effective at noon on January 20th. That's when Donald Trump will take the oath of office. So the Biden appointee will be stepping down. Now, his tenure as chair ran through 2026, but clearly it has been signaled intensely by the Trump team that they intend to replace Gary Gensler at the SEC. So he does not intend to stick around to see how that process plays out. This now, Kelly, gives the Trump team another another big economic slot to fill. We're waiting on Treasury, we're waiting for National Economic Council, and now we'll see what they do with the SEC. The expectation among folks in Washington is that if they do pick an SEC chair, no matter who the name is, you're likely to see sort of less intense enforcement around sort of more exotic cases, less intense enforcement certainly around ESG situations, less intense enforcement, perhaps an entirely new look at what crypto enforcement might look like as well under a Trump administration.
And speaking of confidence, Shivam Thakral, the CEO of Bayucoin, pointed to XRP's meteoric 40% price surge within a single day. This spike sent its market capitalization soaring to a jaw-dropping $156 billion. According to Thakral, this surge reflects a broader trend, a crypto-friendly regulatory environment encouraged by the Trump administration and the anticipation of large-scale market inflows. He also highlighted another key catalyst, speculation about a Federal Reserve interest rate cut. A lower interest rate environment has historically fueled speculative investments, and Ripple appears poised to benefit from this economic shift. But Ripple's success isn't just about regulatory and macroeconomic factors. Its RLUSD stablecoin is a game changer in its own right. By enhancing the functionality and scalability of Ripple's blockchain ecosystem, this innovation is directly driving demand for XRP. Industry analysts see Ripple's growing ecosystem as a core driver of its sustained success.
And I think moving forward, given the clarity for XRP, given that Ripple beat the SEC in court, institutions are now going to have a much easier choice when it comes to picking what stablecoin they're going to use. They are clearly not going to be using Tether. They might want to use USDC, but now with clawbacks enabled on RLUSD, there's not going to be any good reason to use USDC. And it's so important to know, Circle is never going to be able to turn clawbacks onto their token because their USDC token has to rely on the blockchain it's issued on. Because RLUSD is issued on the XRP ledger and that amendment is already being put forth, this is going to remain a unique feature to RLUSD for a long time going forward.
For example, Ripple's collaborations with financial institutions have brought legitimacy to its operations. Ryan Lee specifically emphasized how these partnerships and XRP's integral role in Ripple's infrastructure directly bolster its valuation. This symbiotic relationship between Ripple and the traditional financial world is part of what makes XRP such a unique investment vehicle. It's not just another cryptocurrency, it's a critical cog in a well-oiled financial ecosystem. In summary, the factors driving XRP's meteoric rise are multifaceted. From regulatory optimism to innovative product launches like the RLUSD stablecoin, Ripple is proving that it has what it takes to thrive in a complex and competitive market. As analysts and investors alike keep a close eye on these developments, one thing is certain: Ripple's journey is far from over, and XRP's story is just beginning. So what's your take on this? Will you embrace the promises of XRP's rise and its potential to reshape the financial world? Or will you question the powers orchestrating its ascent? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth dives into the stories shaping our future. Together, we can uncover the truth and navigate the path forward.